We are live.
So welcome back, CPSG episode 3. We're joined with Mike Day, investor, military man, entrepreneur. You do jiu-jitsu as well, right?
Yes.
So right off the bat, I kind of want to start with military. So, we grew up together, and I feel like that was something that was kind of spur of the moment, and it was never planned growing up. So can you kind of take me through your thought process, what kind of flipped the switch between after high school and then up to your decision to actually joining and serving?
Yeah, so it took a while. I kind of wish I would have joined straight out of high school, but I definitely don't regret the other stuff that I did after high school, obviously. Took a year break after high school, then I went to college. And then at college, I started listening to Jocko, and that's really what inspired me. Like, that was one of the main factors in me joining the military was, I listened to like over 2,000 hours of Jocko over my 1 year in college. And, just seeing the type of person that Jocko is, and was when he was in the teams. That was, like I said, that was the main thing that made me want to join. And then, so I've been in for 1 year and 1 month now.
Jocko, he's a Navy SEAL, right?
Yeah, he's a former Navy SEAL commander, commander of Task Unit Bruiser, which is the most decorated SEAL team unit in the Iraq War. So,
I actually have a legitimate question. How does he compare up to David Goggins? Similarities.
So what I've heard is that people in the teams don't like Goggins because he's like too individualistic. Like the guys would have a long day of training in the SEAL teams or a long day of work, and then they would go out to the bars and it's a brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And Goggins would be out rucking after a long day of training.
Yeah, he'd be out. Yeah.
But I would say like Goggins is crazier, but like they're comparable. Jocko's on a completely other level. He's the CEO of like 7, 8, 9 different businesses.
I know he's got one business with like making leather boots.
Yeah, that's one of them. His main profit, I think, comes from Echelon Front, which is a business consulting company for some pretty major companies on that list that they consult for.
Where'd you hear about Jocko from?
I don't know.
Probably Joe Rogan.
Yeah, probably Joe Rogan. Like, Joe Rogan had him on in 2015, right after Jocko got out of the military. And, well, first Tim Ferriss had him on, and Tim Ferriss said, dude, you need to start your own podcast. And then he went on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said the same thing. He said, bro, please start your own podcast. And then he did. And now, Jocko's got like top 10, top 5 most listened to podcasts consistently.
Does he do most of them with people or with just him?
Mostly with people, but he has some where it's just him and his camera guy, his jiu-jitsu buddy, Echo Charles.
Echo,
yeah, he's dope. He's really
like a
cool.
well-known dude.
Mm-hmm.
No, not well-known. He's just a guy that he's been training jiu-jitsu with for like 20 years.
First time I heard of Echo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going back to like the comparing and contrasting between Goggins and Jocko, I think Jocko just took the leadership portion to next levels,
Yeah.
And Goggins too, the one thing with Goggins that people didn't like in the teams was he has one combat deployment and then one other deployment that was non-combat. And Navy SEALs are tip of the spear, head of the missions for, of course, tip of the spear missions, right? So they're expected to deploy multiple times. So, but Goggins also had a lot of things going on with his heart. So he had heart surgery, multiple heart surgeries during his time in the SEALs. That stopped him from deploying.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So he was under a lot of scrutiny because of that. But what they didn't know is that he was dealing with different heart surgeries. And then while he was dealing with heart surgeries as well, that's when he went on his recruiting stint. So he was still in the SEALs, but he was a part of their recruiting program, and he would travel the country to recruit instead of deploy. And you can't deploy. You got to think. You would know better than I would, but the missions itself, a lot of it is skydiving into water or land, and submarines too, where you're underwater, where obviously you need a good heart to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he had multiple heart surgeries during that. But so speaking of, you are in the Navy, right?
Yes.
What do you currently do in the Navy?
I mean, I'm not supposed to like put it on social media or say, but I mean, I can just say like basically I'm a signal analyst. So I just like look at signals all day and yeah, collect satellite signals and radio signals and stuff.
Last time or before you joined, I know you had mentioned that you were starting the journey of potentially becoming a Navy SEAL yourself. Is that still in the front of your mind, or do you foresee yourself doing something different than that?
No, I'm probably not going to do that anymore, which I'm kind of like ashamed to say because I kind of said that I wanted to do it to like my family and stuff. So I'm like ashamed to say that, but at the same time, yeah, I'm at the point where with the job that I'm doing now, I'm going to be making really good money in the civilian world, and I still want to travel down that path of discipline, of course, but in a different way, probably in a non-physical way. I mean, of course, I still want to become someone who's in the same physical shape as a SEAL, but I'm thinking about getting my PhD or, at least my 4-year degree, and then doing numerous business ventures, as you know of. And yeah, I think I just decided that like I didn't want to risk my life and like risk my future and my body and my my entire life, even though it would be worthwhile to do. Yeah, I'm just not that guy apparently. I don't know.
You can't tell yourself that. You're putting your own limitations on yourself.
Not a SEAL though. I mean, like I know I could do it. I can do anything I want to do, but I don't want to.
There we go.
For whatever reason, bro.
I wouldn't. I want to at heart, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, obviously one of the reasons is like that shit is another level, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone knows like it's and the training is just the beginning of the job. Going to Buds is just like that's not even as hard as the real job.
So you said you wanted to get sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
So you said you wanted to get a couple either your 4-year degree for schooling or a little bit more. How long have you done school so far?
Only 1 year.
What made you make that final decision
to join?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that I couldn't sit in college. I felt too comfortable at college, and that made me uncomfortable, and I didn't fit in with like the partying environment and like just the entire college culture. Like I honestly just didn't fit in with that, and like I wanted to do something that would challenge me more personally and like give me more discipline, and I feel like that's exactly what I'm getting joining the military. Like I'm meeting the exact people that I wanted to meet when I was like thinking about what it would be like to join the military. I'm meeting those people, the instructors, the older people that are, the veterans that are like inspiring characters to be around, and just very disciplined individuals. And then obviously the whole environment makes you more disciplined. So yeah, I mean, that was what made me like make that final decision, is I just knew I had to do something else because I was too comfortable in college.
Yeah, complacency kills you, man. And I remember too, like you being in college, I feel like that whole party life was killing you, So when you came
I was
back
getting
home,
fat. I mean, obviously you can go to college and like not get fat, but that was just me. That's like me personally. Like college isn't a bad thing for everyone. Like, I'm not saying college isn't. You're not supposed to go to college, but for me, yeah, I couldn't.
But I think that's actually a pretty popular thing to happen for a lot of people that go to college too. Maybe not
freshman 15 is a thing.
Freshman 15, but I'm just more so referencing. You didn't really, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't really have like an end goal that was
In college,
definite. Like you kind of went because, and the same with everybody else, you don't really know what you're going to do. And that's what you're told to do. That's what society tells you to do is the correct thing to do. And I think a lot of people went for 3, 4, 5 years and they still really don't even know what they're going to do. Like they were kind of forced into a degree because they couldn't make up their mind, you know?
Yeah, I think that's like, I want to say most people. I mean, I didn't know one person besides like maybe my roommate at college who actually knew what they wanted to do. And he was going to become a dentist.
That's like the dentist, doctor, any type of doctor seems like to be the only people that really know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. So like obviously it's not society's fault, it's not my family's fault that I went to college, but you obviously feel that pressure coming from normal, like most normal families. Like you feel that pressure that, you know, everyone wants you to go, so you just kind of go. But I'm still glad I went. I mean, I don't regret anything that I did so far in my life.
Probably wouldn't have gotten some perspectives that you have now.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go to college because I would have been a complete party animal, straight up. And it would have got me nowhere. I would have gone to college not knowing what to do with my life. Been one of those people that just I'm going to go to business degree just because.
Yeah.
And then got a job either using that business degree in a broad things, as everybody does, or just not use my degree at all. Right now I have a job where I don't even need a degree, thankfully.
Yeah, and I didn't also go because, I mean, I knew what I wanted to do when I was 16, 17 years old. You guys remember too, like IML and that whole trend. So that was
pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
that's what everybody said.
I mean, a lot of people left the company. I'm no longer involved in it personally. I mean, I still do trading and stuff like that, but I mean, it's still super successful, and the guy, his name is Chris Terry, that runs it, CEO. I mean, they're still doing some pretty good things, and that's exactly what it is. Those first couple of years out of high school, I feel it's all an experience. You're kind of putting your foot in the water to the real world.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed too, as of recently, you know, obviously I'm up on social media a little bit. Life is starting to really hit people too. Like they're coming out of college, they're graduating, they're getting jobs.
They don't even know what job they're gonna get.
And from the conversations I've had too, people are scared. They still don't really know what they're gonna do. Time moves quick, bro.
Yeah.
Like it moves really fast.
I seriously feel like we just got out of high school still.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but at the same time, it does feel like it was a long time ago. You know, like I just feel like there was so much between then and now, from just life experience in general. You know.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot of shit, bro. Just, I mean, for me, it was just like wanting to move out. Like right out of high school, I got a labor job for DTE, and like I was just wanting to like get out and just move out, be on my own, trade, invest.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was trimming trees from power lines with a chainsaw for DTE.
They probably paid you pretty well.
For a few months.
Was it a few months? I swear it was like less than a month.
No, it was a couple months.
Dude,
yeah.
I remember in high school, I was like, yep, I'm going to go get a job at DTE.
Yeah.
Be an electrician. I'm going to get into trades.
Yeah, I mean, it's a doable thing. You can even retire in 5-10 years if you're trading properly.
Yeah,
that was my plan.
But you could do a lot of things and retire in 5 to 10 years from trading and.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, obviously, I would mean retire as in quit your job.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, I wasn't saying like trading, like trade. I was saying trades, like.
I know you were.
Yeah. A lot of people, dude. Trades. You didn't even know to go to college for trades.
Yeah.
It's freaking huge.
I'm not against going to college. You guys seem like you're against going to college.
No, we're trying to.
I am. Yeah, I am. I would say.
I mean, I know a good amount of people that I worked for my sister.
I mean, and that's good. That's great. That's great. And so, like, how you say you didn't have a ton of pressure. I felt like I did have a ton of pressure coming out because both of my parents didn't go to college. My stepmother did, and it was definitely something that they pushed heavily on me. You know what I mean? Like even from like 7th grade, oh, what are you going to go to college for? What are you going to do with your life? What degree are you going to get? It was always a thing. So it was always expected of me to go to college, and without any safety net, because a lot of people have safety nets too. I feel they're supported by the parents coming out of high school, financially, which is the biggest thing I would say. And you know, I didn't really have a safety net coming out of high school, and I still chose not to go. And it was the correct decision, I believe.
Yeah.
And of course, I can only speak from my perspective too. I was able to build a career for myself without the vehicle of
bro,
university.
and I agree. Like, it's the right decision for you. It was the right decision for Hayden. It was the right decision for me. And it's the right decision for a lot of people that still go to college. But I'm still not against it. I mean,
I think there's a few degrees.
Because I'm still gonna go, but I just didn't want to go at that time. I couldn't go at that time.
For what?
What am I going for?
Yeah.
I'm deciding between either physics or computer science, but I'm probably going to do computer science because that's where the money is.
I'm personally not against college 100%.
Yeah.
I think I'm against the whole idea of you have to go to college, because growing up we're portrayed as getting good grades so you can go to college. You have to go to college to get a job. You got to get to college to get a degree so you can have a degree to get a job. I'm against that whole idea. I don't think that needs to be portrayed, because it does not need to be portrayed. I got a pretty good job without a degree. There's other jobs just like it. Yeah. And I think there's degrees that people know the degrees that they want. There's a few degrees that they want to get that are really good. You got to go to college to get that. Not everybody's cut out for college.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think. I mean, you don't put a fish on land and tell that effing fish to run. I mean, a cheetah will run. Another animal will climb the tree. A fish will swim. You don't put them all on the land and tell them to run.
I agree with everything.
Different people do different things.
You said, yeah, I agree.
It's my image on it.
I think it's necessary. What
are you going to say?
You did that to me earlier, so I just want to do it to you again.
Well, no, because I had a good point to make, but I think it's necessary, but I also think that, and the reason I say it's necessary, I think in my head, it doesn't oversaturate the entrepreneurship, because without college, I think most people, and they are now, almost everybody has a side hustle, you know? Like somebody has something else that they're doing. Yeah. It's just become a thing. You need more money to survive than what's currently offered in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's on TikTok. We're fed that idea. You can make money online.
Yeah, social media. So all these different things, and there's definitely a ton of different opportunities. And how you mentioned earlier, you said, and this is a line, you know, that I respect. You said, I think I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, literally.
You know, and that's and that is what it takes. Is just understanding the goal at the end of the tunnel, you know? Yeah. So
Napoleon Hill said it best.
Were you gonna comment on me saying I'm going back to college?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I haven't necessarily thought about it, but I wouldn't say that I thought about like actually going to university versus just being able to learn the information online.
Yeah, but you can't learn a PhD from just yourself. I mean, theoretically you could, but it's like, bro, there's so much information for you that you would have to gather and collect. I mean, how many people get a PhD level of knowledge on a specific subject like physics, computer science, any mathematics degree without going to school? Like, think about how hard that is.
I mean, in that sense, I think you're right, but yeah. I'm more like, if I were to go, and again, I'm just looking at it from my eyes. If you're going for like computer science or things like that, then yeah, I think that's.
But you're talking about idea. What, like business?
I mean, maybe not even business. I think I look at business as a profession, and that's more of application. You know, like if that makes sense. So I think business is more applied knowledge versus having to like learn about something and say, oh, if I do this and this will work. You know, like coding and computer science.
Yeah, the thing that I would want to go learn, I would do online. I think there are, like what you're saying, there are some things that you would probably learn more.
Like what would you want to learn? What would you want to learn online?
Marketing.
Yeah.
I could take an online course.
Yeah,
That's-
I can't even believe, and I know friends in marketing, and I'm sorry to say this, but I can't believe that's actually a course offered at college with how many different online courses there are that you could buy for $300 that are way better than a professor that's teaching you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that for sure. But even like in mathematics or like a science discipline, like there's YouTube videos on every subject. But like piecing all of those together by learning all of them online is impossible. But I'm not saying it's the same for marketing. I'm just saying that's how it is for like a lot of the science disciplines. Like they have it put together well at university for you to actually learn. And
Now that I think about it, though, you're bringing up YouTube. I bet you that you can learn the same crap. You're talking about mathematics?
you can
On
Google
you-
every single subject and learn any single lesson, any single piece of subject. But I'm
There's
saying,
just no structure.
but I'm saying, yeah, like the structure of going to university, that's like what it, you would literally have to be a genius to like piece all of that together yourself and then develop the same level of understanding that a PhD person has. But obviously another thing is like having the degree gets you a job as well. Like if I went and applied for a PhD level job at some science lab or wherever I'm going or some computer technology company, I'm not getting a job unless I have a degree, even if I say I have a PhD level understanding. But at the same time with computer science, like I'm sure you guys have heard like Tesla and like companies are starting to hire people without degrees that just took like a boot camp course online or like they researched all their information themselves. So that is becoming a thing. But I would still like to go get my PhD, maybe just my bachelor's, at least my bachelor's, but possibly my PhD, just to, as Malcolm Gladwell says, find something to spend 10,000 hours on in your life. Become a master of something. And I want to get that level of that depth of knowledge and understanding on a subject and like become an expert in a specific field. So that's like my reasoning for why I would go get my PhD. Like
I respect that. If you want to learn a specific thing, you learn it from somebody that knows it best.
The Navy pays for a big portion of your tuition as well, right?
yeah, I'd get 4 years for free. So
Well, there you go.
I'll get my first 4 for free, and then like if I have to pay for my PhD, I don't care, dude. I'm making that back in a year.
Do you
with
have
my
to
PhD.
Do you have to be in the Navy for a certain amount of time for that to kick in?
I mean, I have to do my contract, which is 4 years.
Oh, so if you left early, you wouldn't.
No, I can't. I mean, I can't leave early unless I get kicked out
Yeah.
or
You'd be considered
get cancer or something. God forbid.
You'd be considered AWOL, right? Like that's
Yeah, we had a guy do that in our first school that we went to,
Wait,
and like they don't go look for you or anything. They don't care. Like they don't go look for you like some people think they might. Like in Shameless. Like
wait,
they don't.
So you can't just dip.
no.
Like
No,
quit.
you
You
quit.
can't just quit.
You
Like,
can't
I'm
quit the
done.
military, bro.
you
You
signed
have
a
no
contract.
You have
bro.
no option. That's why I feel really bad for some people.
So it ain't like
Who?
the NBA where you got like a player option. I want out of this boy.
No,
I mean,
you
I think
can't leave.
isn't there options where you can take like an extra 2 years if it's in the contract or something?
Or you can add on years, yeah.
Oh, you can't sign up front. You can't say like
So you need like a health issue to like be able to leave.
Yeah, and that's why I feel bad for a lot of people. Like my mom was like telling me before I joined that like her friend's son at work is in the Navy and like he fucking hates it. And like I know people from high school who just like want to get the fuck out and like absolutely hate it. But I just got lucky with my job, bro. Like I love this shit. It's fun. It's fun doing my job.
I know somebody at work. He just got what he does is it's like a remote
Drones.
drone.
Is he an officer?
I don't know.
Like did he go to college first and then join?
Yes, he did go to college first and then he joined. He flies these drones where it's like heat sensors and you can shoot things. And he showed me YouTube videos on it and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty sweet. I was like, so you're not in that? He's like, no, I'm like in a box at our site and I'm just flying it remotely.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
a cool
like
job.
in no danger. He's like, yeah. But he's not working now because he's somewhere, I don't know, doing that. And that's pretty sick. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool job for sure.
is that Air Force? Aren't they the ones that
I want to
do
say they have
demolition control and
I want to say they have people in like all of them because I'm pretty sure I heard about people doing it in the Navy. We were asking our instructors at our previous school about it, and he was like, "Yeah, only officers can like the guy who's actually flying it. That's an officer.
So
They're not gonna let like an enlisted person do that."
Maybe he is an officer. He's 28 now, and it
Yeah.
was like 8 years, or it was like 7 years since he's done anything for the government like that. Like he's been working out of, and he's
Is
like,
he still in the military?
yeah. So like it's been like 7 years since they've reached out to him, and now he's like deployed.
Hmm.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
What's the? You haven't been doing anything for them for 7 years, and they just reach out to you. Yo, we need you.
Yeah.
that's like reserves, right? Like you can
That's pretty sick.
just be on the sideline until you're called upon.
Yeah, he might have been in the reserves or like maybe they just call people like that who have been in previously or whatever. Was he already in before that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So finding
Mhm.
out that you can't leave, would you still want to become a SEAL?
Bro,
I mean, you can leave the SEAL teams.
I so bad would love to be a SEAL.
But
Not once you make it. Once you make it through Buds and become a SEAL, you can't leave.
yeah,
But you can leave Buds at any time, obviously.
Once you're a SEAL, what's the
But
contract?
I think it's different now though, right? Because you go through 6 months of preparation just for Buds.
Yeah, pre-Buds.
Back in the day, like it used to just be you go straight to Buds, you get hit with Hell Week, and filtration begins, right? Now you have to do like 6 months of training for Buds before you even start it, which I think has a lot of controversy in the Navy as well because Goggins puts it the best. He says you're just training a bigger quitter.
Yeah.
You're training a bigger and fitter quitter because it has nothing to do with physical attributes and everything to do with your mind,
Yeah.
especially with SEAL training.
Yeah, but I also think pre-Buds, like, I mean, it helps you prepare mentally, both mentally and physically for Buds. Like, my friend just got out of pre-Buds. He fucking broke 4 of his ribs. He fell off one of the O course obstacles. And so he was out for like a month with 4 broken ribs, and then they put him back in.
Does he get rolled back or does he get to continue?
Yeah, he got rolled back. So I think he's like just finishing pre-Buds and going into Buds.
How long do
Best
you have
of
to be
luck.
out for?
But he's SWIC. He's not a SEAL.
SWIC. One of my cousins was SWIC and he became a SEAL.
Yeah.
SWIC is that's just kind of
Forget what it stands for, but they call them the SEAL taxis.
mm,
They're like mostly they just drive the SEALs around. Like they're the guys coming down the river in like the fucking Congo or wherever with like machine guns on them, just fully prepped and like a little speedboat. They're badass too, but yeah, they go through a little bit different version of Buds with the SEAls. So
Mm. Yeah,
That's
so
pretty sick.
another thing that you mentioned early on was that you plan on working a job or doing the military and then kind of jumping into your own business ventures as well. We haven't really talked about this at all. Do you have specific business ventures in mind that you wanted to do? I know it's obviously early on and
yeah, I mean, I don't have like a set plan for it, but I want to get into real estate.
you invest too,
I
right?
mean, yeah, I'll be trading my whole life, of course. But yeah, I don't really know, bro. I just know that I want to do something, and like there's not really a way for me to plan it out yet because like I want to have like my degree in something. And it's either going to be it's probably going to be computer science. I've pretty much decided on computer science, so like maybe it'll be something tech related, but like that's the thing, like people are going to listen and be like, "Oh, so you have no plans?" Like, yeah, I have no fucking plans. You want to know why? Because how am I going to plan something like a couple years in the future? It's going to be like 8 years in the future or some shit. And I don't know how like I don't know how the business market is going to look at that time. Like, am I going to be able to start a tech company in 8 years? Like,
So you just got some ideas.
what's it going to, yeah, like I know that I'll be able to figure out like what it's going to be when like I actually start getting into it and committing it and like starting things and like seeing them not work, seeing them work, and like actually learning things in the business world. And I know I should probably start now, but it's just like, you know, what do I do now? I know nothing.
8 years, I can definitely imagine that'd still be a good field to get into, but it's probably going to be heavily AI or artificial intelligence by then.
Yeah, but that's exactly exactly what I could get into.
But with computer science, is that the same thing?
Yeah, coding. That's what you're doing, is you're creating programs and algorithms for the AIs to run on.
Do you think they're going to make it AIs where they can code their own things?
I think they would have to be sentient, but that's going to be a while.
That's singularity, bro. That's when the end of the human existence.
That's like what Elon is talking about, though.
I think he says it's already too late, too.
Yeah. They're working on it.
Mm-hmm. Neuralink, they have Neuralink, which would be, a potential for you, too.
I mean, if you think about it, AI is already getting data from us using all of our apps, everything from our phone, and like creating an algorithm through that and on how they want to entertain us.
Yeah, they are already doing that.
Yeah.
I was watching Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was talking about that. So like in the 90s, everybody was predicting, or even the 80s, they were predicting, flying cars and, all these different things of
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Nobody seen information as the big market share, you know what I mean, for the current market. Like information is exactly what sells nowadays. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it too, like when you Google something, there's an answer for everything. Google is literally just a giant brain of information that they've had stored for almost decades now, and they could feed that into an AI chip, or I mean, I don't know how it would work exactly, but I know that they're definitely working on it. And I know you see those AI videos on Twitter too of like a robot doing something crazy. I seen a robot shooting a basketball and just making every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're getting better at it, bro. You have companies like DeepMind, Neuralink. I watched a podcast on DeepMind the other day.
I've never heard of DeepMind. What is DeepMind?
So Demis Hassabis is the CEO of it, and he was on Lex Fridman's podcast not too long ago.
Of course he was.
And so DeepMind, at least from what they were talking about in the podcast, they're the furthest ahead in creating a sentient AI out of anybody. And so they created, I think they created AlphaGo is what it's called, and it was like the first AI that could beat everybody in the world at Go. I don't even know how to play Go or what it is, but it's like do you know what it is? It's some sort of game. It's not like chess, but it's just like a board game like chess, like a very complicated, intricate board game. And so AlphaGo was created by DeepMind. I could be wrong. I could be like saying the name wrong, but I think it's AlphaGo. But yeah, they so they created that in like 2015 or whatever. And now he was talking about they're working on like creating alpha systems that can learn how to play Go and learn how to play chess without like being told the rules of the game in their algorithm. So like that would be like more, they're getting closer to like a sentient AI. So like a version of an AI where you can just like give it a chessboard and it will like figure out the rules as it plays you and then just beat you in it. And then that would transfer over into like everything else. But obviously they would have to create an algorithm that's like, 1,000,000 times as broad as it is right now, because the original AlphaGo, they give it the rules, they have the exact set system of how it's going to learn how to get good at Go. And so it would happen like that. It would get good very quickly at Go, and that's what they're working on now. But they recently, I don't know how long ago, I want to say maybe like a year or two ago, they created some sort of protein AI that could like decode a protein in like a very short amount of time, like a couple days or whatever. And They say this on the podcast. They say the rule of thumb for I think the correct word is decoding a protein, like one protein in your body, is an entire PhD thesis for the average student. And they created an AI that could do it in like 2 days by itself.
What's the point of decoding a protein? Is this just something that takes place in university and just work in general? Like it's something that people need to be able to do? Is that the point of decoding a protein?
Yeah, I think it's like a medicinal thing. Like it's literally just as important as learning like the rest of the human body. But obviously that's a deeper level. Like decoding an actual single protein, like it's a deeper level. And obviously I'm not knowledgeable on this subject, but yeah, I think it's just more necessary things that we can do to keep people alive if we can decode proteins.
Decoding a protein, like the protein you're talking about, protein like that like, I have for.
Do you remember in biology when they would have what were they called? mRNA? Is that stuff like that? Just yeah.
I didn't pay attention to biology.
Yeah,
though.
me neither. I didn't pay attention to school that much.
I don't know anything about this, but the whole point of that conversation was like DeepMind and the AI systems that are creating.
Yeah. So this whole conversation we were talking about military, Navy, government things, and then AIs. For some odd reason, I'm having a thought about CIA and like aliens, you know? So the past 4 presidencies, every president has said when they get in the office, they're going to, because once a president gets in office, they can see the CIA files. Every single one of them has said that they're going to declassify for the public.
Are we getting into conspiracy theories
about
now?
About JFK and about UFOs.
That just happened.
Huh?
They declassified all of it. CIA assassinated Kennedy. Aliens are real. UFOs are real.
Yeah, they did declassify like all the CIA files. You didn't see them?
No, I could have swore I just looked into this and the JFK stuff, which should have been, it's like
I don't
50
know about
years
the
of it being
JFK
classified.
No. CIA was involved in the assassination of
Well, I thought that's what we just thought.
No.
Once something's classified, after 50 years, it has to be like declassified.
I think it's 25.
It was declassified. JFK was murdered by the CIA. Okay. I could be wrong.
I think
there's
you are.
A chance that I'm wrong.
Because the past 4 presidents, when they get in the office, after saying they're gonna be open about declassifying it and telling the public about UFOs and the whole JFK thing, they get in office and immediately, like 3 weeks after, they come out and say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna discuss about that."
So I do know for sure that there was UFO documents released. I know that for a fact. This was like 2 years ago during COVID. When prime COVID,
like,
the headlines
aliens are real.
UFOs are unidentified flying objects, but you got to think too. This could literally just be technology that the U.S. government has in or whatever government
or another country
we
just don't know about. Yeah,
like
we don't know.
There's a pilot. Do you ever see that video of that little object and it moves from like
a Tic Tac,
like the size of a Tic Tac? It moves from the top of the atmosphere all the way down to sea level in the split second.
Yeah, I watched the David Fravor podcast like 4 times. Bro.
Is he the Air Force pilot?
Yeah. I think he was a Navy pilot, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. Joe talks about him all the time. Joe Rogan.
Yeah. He has some crazy things to say, bro. I can't tell you like specifically what he says because most of the time I just turn it on and like fall asleep at night and just plays while I sleep. But
Joe Rogan?
No, specifically the one with David Fravor.
I don't even know who that is.
He's on Joe Rogan, or
he's the guy that started the Tic Tac thing. He's on Joe Rogan.
Dude, I saw this thing about. I don't even want to discuss that.
So
more UFO stuff is just stupid.
Yeah. So one thing that happened last night, actually, yesterday.
You saw a UFO.
saw an
Yeah, I
alien,
did
bro.
see
The thing
UFO.
The thing was yellow.
And
we were told they were green.
CNN
Oh,
actually covered it.
CNN
But
makes sense.
finally,
Shit's gross, bro.
so last night we had a bit of controversy.
With the sun. Is this the thing with the sun?
The Tate brothers were arrested.
Oh, bro.
Oh yeah.
So
Bunch of fake news.
congratulations, feminists. And
Nah.
congratulations,
They're released.
liberals.
You know they're released now, right?
All
It
of
was
your
after, like,
headlines
after, like,
retweeted.
3 hours or 45 minutes, they were released.
They're finally caught. Screw Tate. He's a human trafficker.
You know, that's what my sister was saying
Just
earlier.
look at you. You're supporting a human
Of course.
trafficker.
My sister hates Andrew Tate.
I know, of course she
She's
does.
probably gonna. Actually, she probably won't make it this far because she's gonna think it's stupid. But if
Yeah.
she does,
A lot of
thanks for-
people.
Congratulations.
A lot of people won't make it this far, to be honest.
You were right.
I know, it's fine.
You were right, and Tate is now free. So, we'll see what comes out of it.
Now they're gonna try to kill him.
Yo,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is
Next step is he's just gonna die. somehow.
he called that out. He called that out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He said first they're gonna try to cancel me, then they're gonna try to arrest me, and then they're just gonna kill me.
Right. Which this whole thing
Because he won't keep his mouth shut.
him being arrested was not because of human trafficking. It wasn't.
What? I mean, they said it was.
Yeah, like he was being investigated for it.
It wasn't.
And money laundering.
I heard he got swatted. Am
The
I
first
wrong
time-
about that?
The first time he did.
Oh, the first time he got arrested for human trafficking.
This is before his
Yeah.
blow up. But this is why I'm thinking in my head too, like what
like
the first time. Yeah. It's just
but
so
you know the
normal
story.
now.
So the story is that Tristan was fucking a girl from Miami, and
No. From France, not even from America.
I don't know the
she
story.
would, Tate
That was the
specifically
first-
says
that was the first one.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
So the first one. So Tate
you did
was
say the first one.
Talisman, or Tristan was
They're the same stories.
with a girl.
Wait, they're the same stories, but from the girls are different
Yes.
countries.
That's
Just
why
finish the
that's
fucking story, dude.
and the boyfriend was curious. He seen an Instagram story. He was like, "Why are you at Tate's house? That's Tate's house." And she makes up, "Oh, I don't even want to be here." Blah 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 blah. And then she like gets nervous or something, gets scared, and then hangs the phone up, or just puts her phone on, shuts it off. So the boyfriend contacted the U.S. Embassy in Romania, and the local police, got dispatched, and girls being held against her will, human trafficking. That's kidnapping.
Yeah.
In theory, if the girl didn't want to be there. But like you said, they pulled the cameras. They seen that she came in an Uber. She left in an Uber. So that was case closed. They were released 45 minutes later. That was the first time. And then this time, they were being accused. I was in a Twitter Spaces last night. I was listening. Grant Cardone was in it. It was kind of weird. There was a bunch of random people in this Twitter Spaces. That's why Twitter's so cool. I love Twitter.
Yeah.
His charges this time are that OnlyFans girls and agencies in America, they were coercing these girls forcefully to come to their agency and do pornography. And essentially they were saying like, "Oh, we'll take care of you. We'll give you this. We'll give you that, blah, 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 for you to come do business with us." And it was supposedly forceful, abusive, things of that nature. But in my head, I'm thinking it was 6 girls, right, that came forward. In my head, I think all of this legal money, millions of dollars that's made legally, why would somebody who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars have to partake in a legal activity to generate income? You know what I mean? That's the first thing that comes to my head.
I mean, yeah, the first thing that came to my head when I heard that he got arrested for human trafficking is like, why would you make yourself famous, put your face all over social media, stream, like whatever he does, streams, podcasts, has a course, make yourself known, and then just do some shit like that?
I mean, people are going to be saying you can think of like a modern Epstein.
Yeah. I mean,
That was a sickness, though.
I don't want to say like
Tate could be. Yeah,
I don't want to say like he's not, but I don't believe it, but like at the same time I'm open. I'm not going to be like if he actually got caught with it for whatever reason, I wouldn't be like still on his side. But yeah, you know,
me too, but with solid evidence. Because if he's just convicted and there's nothing that makes sense for conviction,
yeah,
I'm still just gonna think it's an attack from the Matrix and just made up things to put him away.
yeah, I genuinely think that's what it was. Considering he was released 3 hours later, it's just like, what else is it?
Yeah, if the charges were so heavy as human trafficking,
He would not have been released.
he wouldn't have been released 3 hours later.
Yeah.
And Tristan as well.
And Tristan.
Like,
Yeah, they both just let go. And
yeah, I think that
I had an idea on this whole topic, but then it totally just left my brain.
I think that all of it, there's a lot of gray area in all of it.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was about to say was there's two polar opposites point of views on the Tate brothers. Andrew Tate specifically because he's the most famous one, but it's legitimately the algorithm showing one side of people clips of things that he says that are absurd, and then the algorithm showing the other side of people, which are like younger men mostly, of things of him just pushing for males, young men to embrace their masculinity, grow individually, start something, make a business, make something of themselves, grow in value, and just like not stay stagnant and not like...
yeah, and I think I've seen like both sides of those clips at this point. Like, I don't like watch them, look them up all the time.
At first, I was seeing both.
At first, I was seeing just the bad ones, and then it just switched over to the good ones.
That's how
eventually.
he got famous at first, I think.
I've been following him since 2017. I used to send you tweets, I'm pretty sure, from him from 2017.
Didn't he have like a weird Twitter name?
It was just Cobra Tate G.
Oh.
But this is 2017, and he wasn't famous. He was just really rich and successful. But I remember looking at this guy's Twitter, and I looked at him in a completely different light than I do now. He would just make outrageous tweets, like just crazy things of just, it was like a picture of him next to a Ferrari with a big gun on his hip. And it was just, you see this gun on my hip, big caliber, it'll blow a hole through you because I'm rich, blah, 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 just stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's crazy. So I started following him. And, but that's like a persona, I think that he plays a character.
Yeah, like he's just fucking around.
And he's funny, and he can turn it on quick too, especially in front of an audience.
Yeah, and like that's what like my sister, like the things that my sister was saying, she was just like calling him a misogynist and stuff, and like a piece of shit and an asshole. But like, I mean, like I agree that a lot of the you know, like the bad clips of him, like the shit of him saying fucked up stuff, obviously, like
particularly what,
bro, I don't know, him saying like if he's dating a girl he owns her or whatever he said about that.
He says that if he is taking care of her financially, protecting her, all around taking care of the woman, he has some authority in the actions that she's able to do.
Nah, bro, you know the clip that I'm talking about where he literally says like he owns her.
He was talking about
like
the women for OnlyFans for that.
Yeah, like it was like some fucked up shit, but then like he goes on like a podcast where he's like he's like a normal guy having a conversation. He's not playing the character, and like he's like he's like watching his clips back and he's like, I'm funny as fuck sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
he just starts laughing.
Like so
goes,
that's what I was trying to say to my sister, but like it's hard to say when like someone already thinks something about somebody. It's hard to like convince them like he's just fucking around, and maybe he does believe some fucked up shit, but like, who cares? He's still preaching a lot of good shit, so I don't really care about that.
So one thing that he did that I thought was a really good move. A lot of the views that he has is just relates back to Islam too, which is also the most hated most hated religion in the world.
What has he done that you disagree with? Anything?
Yeah, I think there are some things that he says about women.
He said some fucked up things
that I don't really agree with.
He's not perfect.
But another thing though, the main message that he pushes, besides talk about men, something he he's good at getting a message across, but he gets it in a very aggressive, broad way. But the main message he's getting across for women is for them to value themselves more and not to just throw their bodies and just be so easy to give their body up to another man and just do that with as many men as possible. That's like, and for them to value themselves more.
Yeah.
That's all he wants them to do. Or the message that he's trying to get across. That's like his main point. And there's been women that don't really go with that. Brittany Renner is one of them. She's got a past.
Hose.
Yeah. But women like that meet him, and other people, guys that don't like him, have a certain perspective of him. They meet him in person, they go onto a podcast with him, and after the podcast they're like, man, like Andrew Tate's a legitimate, genuine guy. He's super bubbly, he's a smiley, laughing dude, he's a happy guy, he's nice to be around, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And they completely change their perspective on him once they actually meet him, and not this one-sided 15-second clip of him that you only see that.
Yeah.
You gotta know him.
I agree. I would say that some of the things that he says for, I believe, comedy. I think a lot of the stuff he says
just
is comedy.
attention, just like attention to get more people to watch.
You're right, and he does it on purpose, and he does it for the exact reaction he's getting out of your sister, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly why he's doing it.
You're gonna get more negative.
But I
like,
think that's a good point too, though. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, and I was just gonna say, like, obviously it's a touchy subject, like just bringing him up in general, because like it's a controversial subject, because people either hate him or love him. I don't hate him or love him. Like, I think one thing that like I disagree with, that I think that he actually thinks, is like you guys agree with this. He thinks that guys can fuck as many girls as they want, but like it's gross when a girl fucks a lot of guys. Right?
It's his religion. He's not saying so much.
I don't think that's religion. I think that's
I don't know about you guys.
Religion.
I disagree with that.
Well, he's
a high level.
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just saying it's like he's Muslim. It's like a religion type thing where he's like, if he can have multiple women.
So I had this explained to me. I want to explain this. I know what you're talking about. The 4 wives.
They have to equally be able to provide for every single one of them.
I had a Muslim girl explain this to me, because I was trying to understand, because the whole thing is, you can have multiple wives in Islam, four women.
I was talking to a guy at work.
But it's not that. It is that you can, but it has to be in cases of absolute. So, for example, your first wife can't bear a child, and you guys, under Islam, you want to have a child. Okay, so you can take care of a second wife. She can bear a child for you. Okay, cool. Now the second one would have to, I don't know, just something that would have to cause for a third wife. It's not like you can just have 4 wives just to love. But
he doesn't have any wife.
No, he says that also. He says he does, but it's also for jokes, right?
Yeah.
I think that, to answer your question,
he does say
that's controversial, right?
Yeah, like he does say that, and I don't know about you guys, but I disagree with that. I think that women should value themselves and not fuck a bunch of guys, and guys should value themselves and not fuck a bunch of girls, bro. If you're fucking random people all the time, I don't want to say you don't value yourself, but you value yourself less than somebody who's like not fucking not fucking everyone they can,
I would say you don't value yourself. I personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
So you do agree?
I do agree. I think women and men both, because we both have friends, right, that had, I don't want to get into specifics, but a ton of bodies, right, by the end of high school. We're talking under 18 years old.
Sick.
It's sad, like, and even now, and it's just
then they can't have like same.
It's
emotional
whatever.
connection
It's
with
whatever,
somebody.
bro. Like, I'm not gonna judge them for it, but that's not me. I don't want to.
We agree with you, but like Andrew Tate, his whole purpose of, besides the whole religion thing, is his defense against is something about men and women emotionally taking it completely differently, because a female is a more emotional creature.
Yeah, I've heard him say
than
that too.
A man.
I've heard him say that too. Like I understand his perspective, and I think that he also he's like more on the side of obviously he's more on the side of like a man provides. Like we were talking about this when we shot the podcast the first time, which was really like the 5th time. This is like the 6th time, but no, yeah, he like we were talking about
Gender roles.
yeah, like gender roles. Like he probably thinks that he's more on the side of thinking that a guy should provide everything and a girl should just like be a stay-at-home wife or whatever. And remember we were saying I don't fucking care. I disagree with that.
Well, I have a question for you though. He has hundreds of millions of dollars. I think any woman, I would say most women that would probably talk to him or in close relations with him would be under the impression that they no longer have to work.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, he lives a different life than we do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand his perspective, and like even if I was at that level, like I'm not going to go looking for a girl that makes more money than me. Like I mean, whoever I meet is whoever I meet, you know.
Are you okay with your significant other making more money than you? Are you laughing because of what I said last time?
Yeah, because we were talking about this last time when we shot it the first time. I mean, like my ego wouldn't be hurt, but it's not gonna. I said this last time. It's not gonna happen. I mean, it's just statistically, it's just not likely to happen. You know.
Yeah.
But if it did, I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to be butthurt about it.
I'm not going to be looking for a woman based on how much money she makes or how much
like
money
she has to make less than me, or she has to make, or like I'm not going to be like she has to make more than me so she can feel better about herself. Like,
I think that I can speak for all men in saying that we don't really care how much money they make, and that is to a point the responsibility of a man too, to take care of your family. I think that's what he's more in reference to, you know, or what he's referencing.
Yeah, and I understand. Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a problem. But even then, I think that's another good point, too, of how he talks about how women are more nurturing. And, you know, having them as stay-at-home moms, right? And not
it's
like you have to be a stay-at-home mom, but some of them want to be. Like that's
and it's
that's
like
a purpose for them, too, is to bear children and take care of children.
And and that's exactly like my sister was saying earlier, like, you know, I'm not gonna like bring my sister into this, but on the topic of like, I'm not gonna like look. None of us are gonna be like, I need a stay-at-home wife. Like, who wants to be my stay-at-home wife? But it's like, if she wants to be a stay-at-home wife, she can. If she wants to be like completely independent, which I think I would rather have, is like completely independent, like has some crazy ass job doing whatever, making a shit ton of money, like. That would be, either one is cool, bro. There's nuance to this. I don't care. If she wants to be a stay-at-home wife, she can. She doesn't have to work. But if she doesn't want to, like, I'm not against that. I don't think Andrew Tate's against that either.
It's just the chance of it happening. Like, he makes more money than...
I know. So that's my final take on this. Is, you know, obviously it doesn't fucking matter.
One thing too that he doesn't put out there, because I imagine for marketing reasons, but he has a wife, not like a.
Is he married?
No, I don't know if he's married, but
he's mentioned about her before.
Well, he has a girl, and she's from Romania, that he looks after, takes care of, and.
Is it Tristan the one that has a kid?
Tristan has a daughter.
But
and I think that's a goal too, for at least I'm trying to think. I think any man would want to make their wife a stay-at-home mom as well. Like that's a goal for retirement, you know, to take care of everything in general.
Yeah.
Like, and even, you know, because who's the first person you want to retire when you get rich?
Parents.
Your mom, right?
Yeah.
You want to retire mom. Then you want to go to dad, and then you want to go to your wife, and you know. So, I think it all ties into how people actually feel, but he just takes it just a little bit too far in each.
Yeah, but that's
argument.
also that's what literally brought him his success.
Mm-hmm. He's in the second stage of his success, because he had success before too.
Yeah.
And phase 3 is coming.
Yeah, phase 3. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, again, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I mean, it doesn't affect my day-to-day life. If he's indicted on human trafficking, then he's a bad person. That's how I feel. That's how I think most people would feel. But I just don't see it happening. I think I'm very logical and analytical, and I look at all ends of it, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I feel that.
But
I mean, even if he was doing something horrible like that, no, I'm not even gonna. That's just
say it.
no, he was. I know,
I was
what he was gonna say.
Everybody's got a good and a bad side. Like you even
okay.
hear stories of freaking pastors, people like
You can't end on that one, bro.
Jesus Christ.
People got pastors, dude.
Nah,
like,
bro. If he's human trafficking people, fuck
I'm
him.
not talking about
He's a
human
piece of shit.
trafficking. I'm like, all right, like if legitimately he's a
pimp.
I also think that human trafficking has a really bad connotation, like obviously, but
you're talking
it doesn't
about,
actually represent what the actual action is. The action is just manipulation of traumatized women, which is not right at
human
all.
trafficking is just selling like
It's not right at all. But the
straight up
accusations,
bodies.
yes, that's what I'm thinking of when I think human trafficking. I think Epstein. I think that. I think people kidnapping people. I think people.
Yeah.
I think abuse and stuff like that. But
it's drug trafficking, but with bodies.
We shouldn't be talking about
no, we
this.
shouldn't. But that's my take. If he gets indicted,
so on today's
he's a bad
episode,
person.
We're going to be talking about
Not good. Not a good person at all.
This is going downhill.
But
we are not
speaking
defending human trafficking one bit. Let's put that out right there, right now. This whole conversation is us just saying there's two sides of people's views.
There's different
on
methods of doing
addressing
human
both.
trafficking. That's basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
Tell us about him. Do you know?
Nah, bro, you were just saying there's kidnapping people and then there's like manipulating people.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, no, hold up.
They're both.
What do you think everybody's viewing on human trafficking?
I think kidnapping. I think people selling people. Do you ever see the movie Taken?
Yes.
That's what I think of when I think human trafficking.
Yeah.
Literally people getting kidnapped and sold in the black market.
That's
Not
what
like
human trafficking is.
No, but the accusations are he manipulated women into coming to Romania or wherever the hell they were to film for them.
Oh, yeah.
But they were already porn stars. They're already OnlyFans girls.
That's not human trafficking.
I mean,
but the second part of it is abuse, like physical abuse. But he didn't do it because he wasn't in America. He's just the head of the agency. He's the boss.
I mean,
so
if
that's
that's
his
the case.
that would be his.
If that's the case, that's still fucked.
It is. I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Can we move on?
Yeah, so the second part that I was actually excited to talk about was, and I think that we should, because we could talk about this topic for literally 24 hours straight.
I wonder what it is.
24 hours straight. And I think at this point we might have actually talked about it for 24 hours.
Probably.
In total talk time.
Yeah.
But spiral dynamics. With, try to give a short description in your own terms. Actually, can I go first? Can I?
I know nothing about spiral dynamics.
I mean,
You know
can I
nothing
just say
about-
like the one sentence first?
Yes.
I'm going to be the clueless guy here.
So, spiral dynamics is a scientific model in the field of developmental psychology, and it is the most accurate map of the advancement of human consciousness that's ever been created. And it starts from a single-celled organism, and it ends at the level of consciousness that society is operating on today, and even a little bit beyond.
When was this created?
1980s, originally by Claire Graves. The idea was sprouted, and then when the colors were created and the actual picture of the model, that was Dawn Beck and Christopher Cohen, which I have a signed copy of their Spiral Dynamics book at my house.
So, I think one thing that I think what we can do with this, so you said it labels different levels of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Label how? What does it label by? How is it labeled?
So like one of the primary things that like categorizes somebody into a specific color, the groups of consciousness are labeled as colors. And we'll go through them at some point, but So primarily they're based on values for the most part. So like your value system, like the thoughts that you think about the world in general, and then about more specific things like family relationships, relationships with people in general. So I guess your value systems is probably what categorizes you to be in a specific color within spiral dynamics. Can you think of like what else? I mean, it's mainly value systems.
I think levels of awareness.
Yeah, definitely. Like literally consciousness.
Yeah,
being aware
consciousness.
of how much you're aware of.
I just
We
thought of something too.
we should have an episode where we dive deep into each one.
Do you remember?
We could talk like for 2 hours straight on.
Not to get off topic. I know we can tend to do that. But do you remember the Leo Gura and the Indian guy? What is his name?
Theory of everything. The
Toes.
toe.
The
That's- Yeah, I forget his name.
Their podcast they had or interview.
What is the toe?
Toe. Theory of everything.
It's
Oh.
it's a
It's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast. This guy, he's very intelligent, and he was interviewing Leo, the guy that I watch personally. Mike does too, and listens to Leo Gura, actualized.org on YouTube. But they were speaking.
Kurt Jaimungal.
Kurt Jaimungal, that's his name.
What a last name.
But
Yeah.
those
Sounds strong.
those interviews
Jaimungal.
were literally like 6 hours long, both of them.
Yeah, I
And
still
that's what I
never
wanna
watched
do.
them, bro. I watched like
I
4
did.
hours.
I watched the first one, and I watched both. Yeah.
My brain was fried 4 hours into the first one.
Yeah.
I couldn't. My
Um,
attention span couldn't do that.
That was awesome though, watching him.
You were TikTok baby.
Uh-huh.
You were TikTok baby.
Hayden's,
the ones,
uh,
dopamine.
No.
fix-
Hayden's
TikTok.
what's it called? Attention span is like 15 seconds.
No, it is.
No, I'm joking. Because mine is too.
my attention
Mine-
span's horrible.
I know. So is mine.
Not
Yeah.
mine.
I do my entire life. It's been like that.
As
It's
this
not-
is the worst, but he's hiding it. No.
No.
no, mine's
high
been like
value.
that. I got, dude.
Your ego's showing through the mic as a.
On my value, I pay attention to things. But
Okay, hold on, back up. Just because you pay attention to things, you're high value.
I mean, we could beat his ass
Well-
right now.
Whoa, ego. Yeah, oh, chest is out right now.
He
My-
literally
my-
just watched a tutorial on how to sit by Andrew Tate.
my unmatched perspicacity coupled with my interfricability, I don't know what he says, but anyways, back to our subject on how we're talking about spiral dynamics. It's labeled by colors, and yes, I think it's a good idea that we should have some sort of interview and to where we're able to extrapolate each stage over, like, let's say a couple hour period.
Sorry.
I'm strapped in.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can. You
You
just
just
have
gotta
to
pull
literally
the
just
wire.
move your back. Just move your back upwards. Stop. Move your back upwards. You're good.
It's not pulling though.
No, it's not. You're good. But you don't have to sit at the edge of the seat too. But
Let's hear it.
so it's defined by
everybody
different.
sitting up now.
We're
It's
at
the-
attention.
No.
Sorry.
It's defined by different stages, and starting with like the lowest level of consciousness, which is like bacteria. And like I said, I just want to go over just kind of a brief description.
Of each stage.
Sorry, my attention span's horrible. When did we jump right back to spiral dynamics after talking
Just
about
now.
toe?
Just now. Well, toe is
Spiral. They talk about spiral dynamics. If you're paying attention, but clearly your attention span's too bad.
My attention span. I'm thinking about us sitting up, bro. Like,
Well, if you were perspicacious enough, you would
Okay.
understand. But clearly you're not. So with that, it defines each stage by color, and each stage as you move up, it's different levels of consciousness.
And what's the point of thinking about spiral dynamics?
the point?
Why do we even care?
yeah. What? Why do we care, bro?
Why do we care? Like as in us?
That's
For me personally,
Why should anyone care, and why do we care personally?
That's a great question for the audience.
well, I think that at the end of the day, I believe spiral dynamics is law, to me personally. Law in the sense that it is a very accurate depiction of human consciousness as a whole and societal consciousness in general. And how you said when we had previously talked, tier 1 isn't even aware that spiral dynamics exists until you hit tier 2.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
And it is proven based off of history of society that we're moving in the direction of where spiral dynamics climbs.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like, we are every single person is in the absolute perfect place, on the path of the development of consciousness that they should be. They're on the perfect natural course to reaching that peak level of enlightenment. Everyone is exactly where they should be, thinking exactly what they should be. And that's, like, when you get a depth of very deep understanding of spiral dynamics, that's when you can literally see that, like, you know, politics, anybody's belief systems, anybody getting angry at you in traffic, people being a dick to you, calling you out, calling you names, anything that they could say to you, bro, it's just fine, because that's just the level of consciousness that they're on. Like, that's what spiral dynamics teaches you.
So is enlightenment the top?
No,
It goes beyond enlightenment. It goes
no, it's not even. I guess
just-
turquoise is
enlightenment. When the
It's not
awakening
perfect.
is yellow. Awakening in the Power of Now. You read the Power of Now.
I actually have a copy as a
Eckhart
gift
Tolle.
for somebody right now.
Eckhart Tolle, I think, is how his actual name is pronounced.
You
The
have a
Power
what?
of Now.
I just got
It's a book.
I got a second copy of it for Christmas, and I'm gonna gift it to somebody. It's for Joey.
Is it a hardcover?
No, it's for Joey though.
Can I have it? I lost mine.
Really?
No, I'm just
I might have
kidding.
taken it.
So can we? So we've been talking about it. Can we just run through a brief description of each?
Yeah.
Brief.
Let me
brief.
say first another addition to the point. Like, why do we talk about this? Why do we care about spiral dynamics? And I said this the first time we filmed this, and I'll say it every fucking time we film it, because when you have an accurate depiction of what spiral dynamics is, you can create versions of people in your head and ask them for advice in any situation that you're in. So, like, if you have an understanding of what stage somebody's in, and like what their belief systems and their values are, like a David Goggins or a Jocko or Tim Ferriss, you know, whoever you look up to, whatever fit your favorite authors, and like you get an understanding of what their thinking is, then you can use spiral dynamics as a vehicle to like plant a version of them in your head, basically, and then you can be like, all right, what would they do in this situation? Like, what would they be thinking? What would they be saying to this person? What would they be doing in this business opportunity that I'm in, and this, how would they be thinking about this trade that I'm making right now? And you can figure out pretty damn accurately what they would be thinking using spiral dynamics.
It is very helpful, and in my profession, it's both of our professions. It's a difficult time right now, and without getting into too much detail, it's just hard.
Sales.
It's hard in just how the economy is. It's long story short, that's exactly what I do. I sit there and look, okay, what would Goggins do, or what would Leo do, or what would Jocko do? And during times of hard or suck, you have to dissect your mind during these periods of time, because it's incredibly important coming out that other end. Like, this part is the fun part. Like, the process itself is the fun part, and
Yeah.
people don't see that. Like,
Yeah.
and like I wish sometimes, you know, I'm not uber successful, but I wish sometimes I could start from square one again. You know what I mean? Just to go through
Yeah.
those initial stages
That was fun.
of just understanding different levels of the mind.
Yeah, bro.
Can I ask you a question though? You said that you can envision. Where did you? Is that in the book, or where did you hear that from?
I honestly just came up with that.
It's smart. Yeah, like it's, yeah,
Thanks.
that's good. But
There is no golden nugget. There is no.
What are you talking about,
What
bro?
else
It
do?
was all over social media.
No, what else?
Golden egg.
What else do
It's
people
totally
call it, bro?
The Secret.
Yeah, there is no secret. There is no golden nugget. What's the fucking movie or some shit, bro? You know what? I'm not even gonna think about it, because,
What is the type of movie?
dude, I don't know. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Okay, I can
Chicken
get,
Little.
I can get the point across with the golden nugget being the word that I'll use. Damn, bro, I'd say this word all the time. Whatever. I'm not gonna think about it. I can get
Holy
the point
Grail.
across. Yes, the Holy Grail, bro. Yes, there is no Holy Grail. Like the journey is the golden nugget.
Mhm.
Like, and in reality, you just pick up pieces of the golden nugget or the Holy Grail along the journey. Like, people spend their entire lives working towards the golden nugget, retirement, or whatever their goals might be, and they spend their whole time thinking about the end goal, not realizing that the climb is the fun part.
The journey.
Like, that's the fun part, bro, when you're suffering through that shit and gaining that experience.
Yeah.
Those I saw it was a TikTok from a podcast of somebody talking about, I forgot who it was and what podcast it was from, but somebody was talking about the people that are it's the people that are in love with the journey, not the destination, that actually end up making it to where they want to get to, because they don't just stop at the finish line, they just keep running through.
Yeah, if you like standing at the top of a mountain, you're never gonna like actually buy climbing equipment and get a crew to climb the mountain with you and like do the actual task of climbing the mountain. Like, you have to actually like climbing the mountain in the first place. Like, you have to, bro. There's no otherwise you're just like doing something that you don't want to do all the time. There's no other way to think about things.
That kills complacency.
That's what kills people, bro.
Dude, there's people that climb, speaking of climbing mountains, there's people that climb Mount Everest, lose limbs from frostbite. Bro, could you imagine your teeth being so cold and you try to drink something warm and your teeth just crack and break?
Ah, that'd be fucked.
No, I'd rather not have to go through that experience.
I have
personally.
to say, climbing Mount Everest is so commercialized nowadays. Like, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Whoa.
You have to be in insane physical shape to do it. But, bro, when you go up there, like, there's crowds. Like, you got to wait in line to climb the mountain at this point for Mount Everest. Have you seen pictures online, bro? Like, you see pictures and it's like a big group of people. Like, you're waiting to go up to the next spot because there's like, it's commercialized now.
Yeah.
If you have enough money, you can do it.
I'm surprised they don't just make it into a ski hill at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of like climbing through mountains.
Could you imagine just going on a ski lift
One
on
thing,
that thing?
just to get back on that, because I think that was a good thing we were talking about there. Good train of thought. Once you achieve said destination, it's almost like numbing. Like you feel in the moment like nothing really, like you don't feel any satisfaction as much as you thought that you would. Like, I just achieved, just as an example, and I'm speaking from personal experience again, a really big goal of mine that I've had for like 4 years, Yeah. And once I, got the goal, I thought that I would, I'd cry, I'd do all these different things. And
Yeah.
it was almost like disappointing because I realized how much I'm leaving on the table, like how much potential that we actually have that we're not even tapping into, just because of our own self-limiting limitations.
Yeah, but that's good to know.
The governor.
That's good to know, though. That's a good lesson to learn, like, the first time around. It's a good thing to be aware of as you're going towards the next goal, because, and like the thing that I'm talking about that you're being aware of is the fact that once you get to the goal, you're not even gonna, like, who fucking cares? Once you finally get that GT3 RS, that lime green GT3 RS with black fucking tertiaries on it, like, you're not.
Sounds specific.
Mm-hmm. You got a picture of that on your wall?
Nah,
oh.
Mine will be orange tertiaries, all black. I mean, you're gonna have fun with it for a couple days, and then you're just gonna be like, all right, what's next? Do I still want another car, or do I want to go do something else? Go buy something else, or maybe I don't want to buy something. Maybe I want to learn something and acquire a certain depth of knowledge on a subject. I want to find something that I want to spend my 10,000 hours on.
So you legitimately want to find something that you want to spend 10,000 hours on?
That's in Malcolm Gladwell's book called Outliers. One of my favorite books.
I think that's a common a goal for people. Like, I've heard people in our industry say, oh, they have their 10,000 hours and that's why they deserve that title.
Yeah, because what?
Yeah.
Think about it, bro. What else are you gonna? Yeah, you can be a jack of all trades. You can like go spend a little bit of time on each thing, but like, don't you want depth on one subject where you're like a master, a fucking expert on that in that subject?
Yeah.
But you can also do that and have a similar depth in other things like for example, Dave has that level in jiu-jitsu. But
Dave,
I'm sure
what's Dave?
he's the jiu-jitsu instructor at Hoist
professor.
Gracie.
I was just talking to a guy at LA who's in the jiu-jitsu there. He's like, this dude was using the stuff as like a jungle gym, sprinting around LA.
What's his name?
And I was like, bro,
James.
George. He thinks he's Black Panther.
George who? Lopez?
No.
What if it was Nick?
No, he's a super cool guy though. He says he
Is
comes in with
older?
weapons.
Older?
He's a little older. He comes in with weapons, legitimate like swords and stuff, and he says he's gonna try and get them to let him implement meditation. And I talked to him. I was like, "Did you learn meditation from Leo?" I was like, "I got buddies that watch Leo all the time."
Leo who? Girl?
Yeah.
The dog.
Mm.
Hayden's dog, of course.
No, yeah, not my dog. Your guy.
Well, I've
guy
never heard you
guys
say
watch.
his name. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Leo, and he's like, "Yeah." He goes,
No way.
You meditate?" I'm like, no, I don't. But I got buddies that are big on watching Leo stuff, and he goes, "Dude, come in the sauna with me right now. I'll teach you how to meditate." I was like, "Dude, I gotta go. I can't."
Whatever you went to go do wasn't as important as that.
I was on lunch break,
Okay, never mind.
so I went back to work. So
I wonder who he is. I mean, was he
He-
there when
Do I
was?
see him? Like
he said he was training for UFC, for the UFC. So he's like, dude's
George.
built. Dude is
what is he?
built.
What's his last name? What
I
does he
don't
look-
know.
What does he look
I
like?
can text him. I got his phone
Soros.
number.
What belt is he?
FaceTime him right now.
He's probably your height.
What belt?
He's-
Do you know what belt he is?
So he's
in
a big
jiu-jitsu?
guy.
No, I think he just started jiu-jitsu. He does other
He's not
things.
tall. Oh, so he did. Oh, okay. He just started jiu-jitsu.
He had a belt on that was black and had yellow tips.
That sucks, dude. Oh, he's a black belt.
I don't know, but dude was nuts.
So he.
He was moving around, sprinting.
I'm pissed that I couldn't go in there because I would have met this guy. But they're closed until New Year's, and I'm leaving after, so I'm not even gonna get the chance to go.
What
in there
day do
and
you
train.
leave?
The 2nd.
I thought it was the 4th.
No, dude, I leave on the 2nd at like 6 or 7 p.m.
Damn, that's wild. But yeah, so would I have seen him? Like, is he around when I'm in there?
That was the first time I've ever seen him.
Does he have tattoos?
No.
I was gonna say because there's some guys.
You
in
know
there.
that guy? You know that one guy?
I talked to him. He's really cool.
The one
with-
guy that's
with
like
the
tall
gauges.
as fuck.
He's super cool. Looks like a Norse god.
Oh,
And he, like-
dude.
I talk to him all the time.
He's
His
like-
beard or hair is braided.
Yeah.
One of the others braided.
No, just he has a beard.
He's
It's
like
braided.
doing burpees and shit.
Yeah.
He's
like-
in the corner doing that one thing with the.
Yeah.
He's a fighter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He fights Muay Thai.
I think I boxed with him one time.
He fights Muay Thai. He said he doesn't do jiu-jitsu as much, but he fights for a living. He's a cage fighter, and he's undefeated. He said,
That's nuts.
I bet he is, dude. He's lengthy as fuck.
"Yeah,
He wouldn't be undefeated going in a cage with me.
no, he would kill you. He would.
Yeah,
He
no.
would literally. He would kill you."
Rip my head off.
Should we get Vic, Gene, and Dave on the podcast?
That would be dope. I think Vic would be the first target. I think that'd be the easiest one to get. Gene would
Target for what?
to get on. Like
Oh,
Gene would probably ask you to if you can submit him, then he can get on. Gene would
In
submit
jiu-jitsu,
all three of us
Su-
within 7 minutes.
submitting is not like a sexual context. It's a jiu-jitsu thing.
No
yeah. They probably know.
I'm just.
I doubt anyone's listening at this point, but
no,
we've been-
we probably have. There's some people.
there's
and,
like a couple people.
and that's what it's for too. That's what the podcast is for. Like it's not for extreme viewership yet. You know what I mean? Like we're still putting our feet in the water and still trying to get used to and get comfortable to this. But I guarantee you, there are people that have listened to this point in.
We should
So, yeah.
put in the title something about Andrew Tate.
That's something that we just discuss afterwards, bro. We don't talk about it in the middle.
There needs to be a controversy topic, and it will blow up.
I just said this isn't. We've agreed to this before. I'm not saying I said. We've said.
Podcast 3: Human Trafficking.
That would be good. No, that'd be good.
No, it wouldn't blow. I don't think it would.
How many people would watch that?
56,000 retweets on Twitter.
26? No.
2. It would be Andrew and Tristan Tate. We got to roll back into spiral dynamics at some point.
I mean, I just want.
We have to have an episode full of that.
I would agree.
Do we have another hour? Can we go till 9?
It's been an hour.
Oh,
and
it
a
is
half
9.
already.
It is 9, isn't it? Damn.
That's fine. We can.
It's been an hour.
We can go till 9. Start spiral dynamics right now. We've already introduced
I've
it.
tried to 5 times. So let me take the reins, please, and let me just guide
Go through
this.
every color. I'll be over here doing my own thing.
Okay, I'm gonna start from blue. Actually, I'm gonna start from red.
Bacteria.
Stop.
Start from beige.
All right, beige.
You can go through beige to red in 2 seconds.
Beige. Remember, spiral dynamics is just defining different levels of consciousness, and what I like to say is awareness. Starts with beige, color beige. Remember, they're defined by colors. Bacteria. Think bacteria. I'm not going to get into specifics behind it. Just think low consciousness. Then you get into red. Think of Mongolian Empire, pillaging.
Purple after beige.
What is purple?
Tribalism.
Tribalism.
Anything from a pack of wolves to a fucking pack of dolphins or whatever they're called to like even like Indian tribes. It goes all the way up to there. If somebody like infiltrates, if somebody tries to come up to your tribe, you kill them. And if you run out of food in your tribe, you have to go somewhere else to kill them. That's purple.
Okay. That's purple. And then there's red, Mongolian Empire, Genghis Khan, conquer, pillaging, gangs.
Anger.
Tyranny.
Tyranny is the best word that describes red.
That's there. A lot of it, for sure. And then you jump into blue, which blue, when I think of blue, I think of the state of the world. Like over about a decade ago, I think religion, I think traditions, I think family values and structure. Anything I'm missing on that one? You were on your phone, so it's
we can like go with like the excesses of blues, of blue.
Okay.
So like the main excess that you can think of with blue is like the type of person that when they see a homeless person, they're like they think that the homeless person is there because it's their own fault. Like, and as we get into the later stages, you'll see like another stage that we talk about. Like they are the type of person. Why is Hayden laughing? Like one of the later stages will think like they look at a homeless person. They're like, okay, maybe they're there because of their own fault, or maybe they're there because of some unfortunate circumstances that happen in their life. And then like blue, religious fundamentalism. You already kind of mentioned that. And blue thinks that their religion is correct, and they think that the other religions are incorrect. That their God is the God.
Yes. And then from blue, again, I want to just brief with descriptions. You jump into orange. And orange, I think of Wolf of Wall Street. I think capitalism, America, business, money.
Real quick. So blue realizes that like their closed-minded ways aren't the best way, because every color, like this is important to understand, every single color is doing their best at their level of consciousness to benefit the world as much as they can. And blue sacrifices themselves for the good of their society in the sense that they work a job to feed their family. I mean, I guess all stages probably do that, but like they are about going to church every Sunday, sacrificing themselves. These are a lot of our parents' generation, and they eventually realize that they could benefit people more if they just advance themselves. So they go from that societal thinking over to more individualistic thinking, which is stage orange. And orange again is capitalism. Is it working? Okay. Yeah, orange goes into capitalism. So
I know nothing about spiral dynamics. I'm going to keep saying that. I have nothing to say on this whole topic.
So yes, orange is capitalism. And if you want more advanced descriptions, I think that learning about them is definitely just, I would say it's beneficial for just the knowledge and like you said, being able to imagine different people in different stages. And one thing I want to point out too that we haven't talked about, there's no hierarchy within the stages. There is in the sense of higher levels of awareness, but there isn't in the sense of one is better than the other.
And that's because in order to get to one stage, you have to go through every single other stage before that stage. And if you don't go through it thoroughly, you'll end up going back to it at some point. So it's important to experience every single stage on your way up.
Yes. So there's stage orange, which I think the world is heavily in, America specifically. I think that's just kind of how Western society is, but we're moving into the next stage, which would be stage green. And when I think green, I think the current leftist movement, I think kind of like hippies, Woodstock, psychedelics, weed, all
love,
of that. Love
for everybody.
Love
everything.
all, equality.
Yeah, world peace.
Things of that nature. And it sounds great, and it is great. I think stage green is where Western society is right now, for sure.
It's excellent. And
yep.
Since we're like talking, so now we have an understanding of blue, orange, and green, which we don't really talk about beige, purple, and red because those are, as a society, we're far past those for the most part, at least in America. Some countries are still purple and red levels. North Korea, red, purple. But we start talking about blue because blue is the most relevant, and then from there onwards. But it's important to notice too that the main two places that people are in America and in other countries that are as advanced as us, the main two places that people are stuck at, you can basically think of a barrier between blue and orange and a barrier between orange and green. And that's where most people are at. They're in blue moving into orange, or they're in orange moving into green. And we can see evidence of people moving into green as a lot of people from, mostly our younger generation. You can think a great example of a green person is a girl who has social media and like she's posting about like, I don't know, maybe she reposts like some animal suffering project or whatever, like an animal help project or like an extinction thing, or like a notice about like some foreign country that's like struggling. Like she probably has like a peace sign somewhere in her bio. Like she posts a picture of herself and it says like something about happiness. Like these are like green things. So that's a good example of the type of person. She probably smokes weed and she probably has like those Aztec seat covers in her car.
She probably believes in astrology and has
and these are
Virgo
all great
in her bio.
Yeah, these are all great things. These are all great things.
Yeah,
but we have to also say, so we talked about how blue went to orange, and now we have to mention how orange transferred over into green. Orange transfers into green when orange realizes the limits to the capitalistic society. They start to see that the fossil fuels are running low, that climate change is starting to happen. What's going on?
Just
Show me.
Something from earlier. Go ahead, please show them.
I already know what it was.
Climate change is starting to happen, and again, it's just the whole movement that's happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what happens when orange moves into green. So we start to see some companies come about, like Tesla, Apple is going
Tim
major
Cook.
green, Google going, doing their best to move to green and limit their limit their carbon footprint.
Electric cars are
America.
actually horrible.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Stupid,
I've heard
stupid
this.
argument.
I'm not educated on this though.
No,
I don't care. I want electric vehicles.
this is the same argument Matt made every single time.
You're
And I have a
talking about-
serious question for you. If
McCormick?
electric, yes, dude, I got a
How do you think
government name on.
How do you think they make the batteries?
Lithium.
Lithium, but
Where do
we
they
know,
get the lithium
we
from?
know hidden
from
No one
Africa.
cares.
So here's the thing.
From Africa.
So, I mean, seriously, cobalt. You see the thing with Joe Rogan that post? I didn't watch it yet, so I can't speak on it. But he talked about how he didn't think it was as bad as it actually is for these major companies, these major tech companies. Like every chip in your Apple phone is mined by some child in Africa that's under really harsh conditions. But my point is, do you really
I
think?
didn't know that.
And this is a serious question. Logically, the government just signed a $1.7 trillion bill for the omnibus to become a regular thing in America. That's electric, by the way.
The what?
Omnibus.
I'm guessing it's an electric bus.
If it was truly bad for the environment, also California signed a bill by 2028 or 2026, all cars have to be electric, which they're not ready for, not whatsoever. But it's still signed and it's in place.
I'll let the climate scientists worry about that.
You're right. I'm just saying, like, logically speaking, if all these officials were moving towards it, there has to be some sort of impact on it. But I did see something,
Hopefully.
and I know this is jumping off topic, but I seen that they also signed something that in these electric cars, think about our current office, in these electric cars, there's a kill switch for the car that was signed. Meaning they can shut your car off whenever they want.
Right, so they have more power, more control.
More control. So is that the overall? Is that what they're trying to do?
There are already companies that were going towards electric that are thinking of ways and are already designing an engine that runs on, I'm pretty sure, hydrogen.
I don't know, but I know Ford, the
Something
biggest
like that.
company in the country, is moving electric. I know every single car is moving towards electric sedans. Every single company.
They've already designed those, but they're companies that are designing engines to run on, because they're already trying to.
Bob Lazar.
They're already trying to. The frick was that?
He's a character.
They're already trying to move past electric cars
Bob Lazar.
because of what it's doing to land to mine the lithium.
Okay.
We can run cars off water, but they disappear. People.
Oh,
that wasn't
this-
Bob Lazar, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure he brought it up on the
dude-
podcast.
the
Yeah,
dude
he
who
brought it up,
The dude who
probably.
invented a car running on water
No, he,
died, just
disappeared.
disappears. Just what?
Bob Lazar is the one that leaked all the information from Area 51. Or not even leaked, just talked about the information that he was working on, the different projects and spaceships and things of that nature.
yeah.
But we're really off topic. Back to Stage Green
It was only like a couple minutes, but it's fun.
I don't know
from
why yours always says that.
Yeah, I mean, so like that's a good idea of stage green. We were just going through each one briefly, so we'll finish up stage green, and stage green moves into stage yellow. The barrier that we cross going into stage yellow, and then the final stage, which is turquoise, is the barrier of tier 1 and tier 2. Every stage below yellow, so green and below, is tier 1. Yellow and turquoise is tier 2. The difference between tier 1 and tier 2 is tier 2 recognizes the spiral. This is why one of the best examples of stage yellow is spiral dynamics itself and the entire model, because tier 2 sees everybody else's perspectives. They're able to understand everyone else's perspectives. This is why a lot of people, they have hints of yellow in them. I mean, because they understand, they love and understand everyone's perspectives. But yeah, that's the difference between tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 can't see the spiral. They don't understand that there are different stages. They don't understand that orange and blue are fighting, or blue and green are fighting with each other, which, like you said, green is liberal and blue is conservative. So yeah, yellow. You can talk about yellow. Oh,
We had this.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Good.
So how does green eventually realize that they need to go to yellow? It's when they realize that they can't save everybody. You can't solve world hunger. You can't save every homeless person. You can't, you can't just make world peace. Like, you have to have war. You have to have military. So
In some
green,
cases.
yeah. So green transitions from having that communal mindset back to an individualistic mindset in stage yellow. But stage yellow is individualistic in a higher consciousness way than orange. And you can talk about what yellow is.
To me, yellow is just the first stage of awakening in terms of consciousness. It's the understanding, like we grew up in different demographics of values, households,
We were talking
politics.
about that today.
We were, and I wanted to bring this up. For us, we have different views on politics, I would say, but we are conscious enough to be able to have a conversation about something.
Yeah.
And understand each other's perspectives on things, right? And that's kind of what I think of when I think of yellow, is being able to actually have a conversation with somebody that doesn't result in the demonization of said person. So when I hear somebody doesn't like, I'll say this, just as an example though, this is just an example. If I hear somebody that doesn't like Tate, right? I try to think to myself, how? But then I can result back to the model of spiral dynamics, and they're unable to grasp the concept of being able to take in different perspectives on everything, right? Like, there's no single person that I hate on this planet. Not a single one. Would you agree?
Yeah. But, I mean, I would just say, like, just wording it like that sounds a little weird. Like, instead of saying, like, they're unable to grasp, like, it's more, like, in a lot of cases, they're able to grasp it. It's just, like, either they choose not to because of certain things that they've seen and they can't ignore them, and they think he's being serious when he says some fucked up shit, or they just haven't seen those at all, and they've seen some bad clips, and that's fine. That's normal. That's the normal response to have. Of course they don't like him, so that's okay.
I would say the chances of somebody having a strong enough opinion of someone, of hating someone, would not result from one clip, instead multiple clips. So the chances of them not seeing different perspectives of what he has to say is very, very slim.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, regardless, it's the model, bro.
Again, it's an example of being able to just understand a perspective. That's, to me, what yellow is being able to understand. Just as I will listen, I'll hear something that Greta Thunberg, whatever her name is, says. Right? Something. Greta. We know who she is. I'll see something. I don't hate her.
How old is she?
12. I don't know. She's young. But
She
I didn't mean
looks
to
little, bro.
cut you off. You were about to say.
No, I was just gonna say I it's easier for people to stick out. The bad things of something or somebody sticks out a lot more than the good things, and you can have more good things than bad, but the bad are gonna stick out. It's easier for something bad to stick out than something that's good.
Also, societal trends too tend to shape opinions of people. Like, what's
The algorithm.
what is the algorithm, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, is impressed upon people, and they kind of just conform to what the right thing to say is.
Like that
Yeah.
first thing
And they don't
say.
have any thought.
Or they conform to, like, a specific type of thought process or mindset about, like, a certain type of people, and then
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
and
That's it.
and that's fine.
the first thing they see on social media is somebody giving a point of view on what that topic is, and they're like, that's right. That's a good point, and they stick to it.
Yeah, and it's important, I think at this point, now that we're talking about yellow, it's important for like a reminder that, again, yellow is the stage that realizes that every single person, even the countries in stage purple, are in the perfect place on their path to enlightenment. And they're in the perfect place of consciousness that they should be. The perfect natural place, bro.
I wouldn't necessarily say on their path to enlightenment, because a lot of people end up dying I'm not saying from natural causes.
Yeah, most people aren't going to become enlightened, but
even get to that point. Like 90-something% of people.
Yeah, I know.
They'll transcend stages. I think people transcend, but I think that people that are able to transcend stages as quickly as I believe we were able to, it's very rare. And one thing I want to point out too, just going back to what I had said about Tate, right? With the understanding, I also understand, just as I think you do, you've stated you do, the bad parts of what he said as well, and why people are offended in that way, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of using it as an example. Yeah. But with yellow, that's what I think of. I think of perspective. I think of being able to understand the limitations of green, which I'll let you get into, but understanding that your views are your views, and you have to be able to understand the opposition of those views as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then eventually realizing that there is no opposition of views, that it's just another version of you viewing it.
Yeah.
And like what you originally said about like how you corrected me on how I said the path to enlightenment, I think like what you said is more accurate, because the point of consciousness existing, which is everything, is not to reach enlightenment. The point is consciousness to become more conscious of itself and just play the game of consciousness, in my opinion.
And then it gets to a point too, and this can get radical in most people's eyes. And this is something that is okay to talk about, I would say.
Yeah, whatever it is, yeah. It
gets to a point too where I think once you're at a certain level, it just becomes a game.
It's important. That's important. That's an important episode.
It's
a certain level of what? In what?
A certain level of awareness and consciousness in general. I think, did I talk to you when I said
GTA?
Nope.
The simulation?
I said, and I have to be careful how I word this, but I felt like almost you get to a certain point to where it's kind of difficult to be able to just speak to people normally, because I'm not saying I'm speaking from a higher point of anything, but I'm speaking from a different point of view a lot of the times, and it's hard for me to relate or even just speak to everyday people.
Yeah, we were talking about this, and even going back to people that we built relationships with when we were a completely different person.
Yes.
When we try to have a conversation with them, it's more difficult to have the same conversation you would have had in the past, because you're not on the same level of, or you're at a total different consciousness. You're a totally different person. You grew in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think everything moves in frequencies as well, but getting back to that point of like the whole game. And then, once you're realizing it is a game, it just becomes kind of just like, there's no separation between imagination and reality,
Yeah, it's not like better, like having trouble talking to certain people. It's not better or worse. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
yes,
I mean, maybe you think you're on a higher level of consciousness and you're talking to them and they think you're retarded. I mean, that's actually what happens.
Yeah,
they think you're retarded. So like,
or crazy.
And like, it's important to be open. And be like, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right, and I'm retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, and who cares? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Or just humble was a good word. And when I say that,
people are going to be cringing listening to that.
My family,
30 seconds.
Me and my family were talking about this at dinner a little bit. Like we were talking about, I'm not going to name names, We were talking about somebody like who's too egotistical. This person.
Do we know him?
Yeah, you know him a little bit. Hayden doesn't know him.
Oh,
I know him a little bit.
So, here I'll say, like,
drop.
He's never gonna listen to this.
Don't name
I'm
drop.
not gonna name drop, dude.
Okay, all right.
But
Just give me a hint, and I can.
he's wealthy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like he like,
Yeah, I
and
know.
we were talking about how we feel like he talks down to people when he speaks to them, like
Mhm.
especially us and my family, and so I said to like my aunt, no one else was really listening.
Was
maybe Sean.
she there?
No,
Not the.
it was just my family and
your uncle,
No.
No,
or is it your grandpa?
who the person we're talking about?
Yeah.
Even if it was, I wouldn't say who it is.
Oh,
but
well,
Isaiah
yeah.
knows, and Isaiah knows
Okay,
who it is.
yeah, I don't know why I was doing that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Well, I'll tell you who it is after the podcast, but it's not. Yeah, we were just saying like we feel like he talks down on us, and like just everything that is said is a lesson. It's not a conversation. It's a lesson that he's teaching us. And so I said to my aunt, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure she was the only one listening at the table. My aunt Shannon, and I just said, you know, you read about successful people, you listen to successful people who are like, you know, ultra successful people, and almost anyone's successful, and the number one quality that they have is humbleness and lack of ego. And she was like, yeah, it's so true. I'm like, he doesn't.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I mean, Andrew Tate, no, not humble, but I'm talking about Thomas Edison, Jocko, Einstein. Maybe Einstein did. I don't think Einstein was humble, but it's a very common thing, at least, that most people who are like crazy, like who's some more example? I don't know. Elon is humble as fuck.
I think,
and you have to agree that is a necessary trait to have, bro. You have to be humble.
I think it is necessary, but I can relate to what you just said, and not that I'm uber successful again, but I'm on the path. That's all I can say, and I know where I'm going. And I've like what you just said of it being a lesson every time you talk to someone. Like
You think you do that to people?
I think to some people I can, and I've been told that before, and I'm not relating myself to his success because he's way more successful than I am, right?
Maybe depending on the age of the person, because my grandpa's this way and he's not like some super successful dude. He's an average person, had a normal job his entire life, built up a retirement. He's retired now, but he's like, you can't say anything right because he's got something better to say at all times.
Yeah, but that's
that
okay.
Can come with age of people.
Can I ask this?
Like, you can learn something from them all times. I'm going to speak. What you're saying is wrong.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Like, that's the type of thing.
We're all when we're born, we're all dealt a different hand of cards, right? Do you know, was he brought up successful, or is he a self-made man or woman?
No, he's they are pretty self-made.
Self-made, and I think that can have something to do with it as well. If you were in a position to where you were extremely broke, extremely, there's poverty and things of that nature, then it's like you've had to build yourself, you know?
Bro, and trust me, I understand that, but I'm saying still, if you read a very good book about whatever, success, self-improvement, if you look at these ultra successful people, most of them, Andrew Tate is an exception, most of them are humble as fuck, bro.
Yes, there are some exceptions.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, bro, he is humble as fuck.
Jeff Bezos is humble?
Yes, I think so. I don't watch interviews all the time, but just my perspective that I've seen of him, he just looks like a humble guy. Talks like one.
You also haven't talked to him like you do with that person that you know. Yeah,
if I was talking face to face, maybe they would be different. But Malcolm Gladwell, Jordan Peterson, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I feel like if I talk to them in person, bro, like they're humble as fuck. You know?
I want to point this out too.
Different life experiences that bring it out in people.
We're talking about a perspective of individuals who feel a certain way about somebody who speaks to them. Do you think instead we could look at it as the people that are feeling some type of way should instead change their perspective and try and learn something from said individual instead of thinking
No.
that? And why?
Because there's obviously things to learn, but when it's when they're actually just a dickhead and they're not, like, they're actually just an asshole.
I didn't know that.
You know?
You didn't say he was like...
I'm saying every conversation is a lesson. When it's like that, when, like, it's not like we're talking about business, especially a business that this person would be knowledgeable in. If we're talking about that, obviously I'm fucking all ears listening. But when we're talking about any little random,
They're like
this,
always
that,
talking down.
this thing, that, yeah, they're just talking because they think they're better than you because they have money. So do you think that it's better to be humble regardless of how successful you are, or not humble? You think it's better to be arrogant?
No, I think 100% it's
humble.
It's better to be humble, and humility is very important, and I value humility.
Yeah,
like I really do. But I'm just trying to think of all the different ways, because it could just be hard, and again, I haven't been in the situations.
I don't want that to die.
Is that one?
Almost.
Okay. I haven't been in the situations, right, to actually see firsthand, but I'm just trying to like just think of different ways, because I know in some case scenarios, and I know you too, it's difficult sometimes to care about like the small things in life, like small talk.
yeah, like
you know,
small talk.
I hate small talk. It's like what are we sitting here talking
There's no
about?
point. Yeah.
I need to constantly be thinking and moving and doing different
Yeah,
things.
but that's
so
how you build relationships. So like you have to become good at it.
I think relationships are built from meaningful conversations, not necessarily
Yeah, but they have to start
how
with
your day is.
They have to start with small talk, or at least talking to females.
Situational.
At least talking to females when you're
Yeah, I was about
when
to
you're
say.
cold approaching females at a bar.
That's different. That's
gotta be-
different.
So you have to have
Situational.
that variety of skills with
And
your
that's,
level.
that's
your
where the spiral
spiral
wizard.
dynamics. Yeah,
That's where the spiral wizard.
we can loop back to stage yellow and finish spiral dynamics in a second, but I have to say, so yeah, I think you're thinking of like situations like, I'm not talking about being humble, like being a little bitch. Like, I'm talking about the mindset that Jocko has. So, like, if Jocko's in a business meeting, or, like, let's say any person, if you're in a business meeting and, like, somebody's saying something wrong, or somebody's, like, talking down on you, or somebody's, like, talking shit about you and you hear about it, I'm not saying, like, being a bitch. I'm saying, like, of course you would still, take authority over the room. If you're the leader of a room and you're leading an exercise and you're leading a business meeting, or you're leading a specific project in your business at your job, of course you better take control of that. Be a fucking man about it and do what you have to do. Tell everyone what they have to do. If you're the boss of something, be the boss of it. But then when you leave work, you leave that business meeting and you go to 7-Eleven and like, or you go out to dinner and like the waiter takes an extra 10 minutes and you're just like being a complete asshole. This is what I'm talking about. Humble. Like, you have to be, be kind to people.
Yeah.
Agree. But yeah, so yeah, I think the next time we all convene when's the next time you come back?
I don't even know. A couple months at least.
We should do something, and we could even do what they did on Toe with Leo is have something over Zoom and just
Yeah, we literally could.
Notepads of notes and just really dive into the more metaphysical aspects of our ideas. And when I say like metaphysical, I mean what would be considered radical philosophy for a lot of people. I think we both, all of us, have some sort of understanding of that. So that's something we can get into for sure.
Yeah, and that'll be important too, because people think that like philosophy is mental masturbation, and Leo talks about this in, I think, the Life is a Game episode.
That's one of my favorite ones, bro.
Yeah, I watched it like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
But like people think it's mental masturbation and it's pointless, and you're just thinking about like thinking, or you're thinking about abstract thoughts or like metaphysics and shit like you just mentioned. But like what we have to understand is the abstract things are what creates the physical things.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have physical reality, there would still be abstract reality.
Yes.
There would still be everything. Like if our neurons didn't connect and create consciousness for us, all of the abstract ideas would still exist, but we just wouldn't be here to think about them. But if the if the abstract reality didn't exist, then there would just be nothing. That's the fundamental reason why philosophy and thinking about metaphysics is important, or it can be important if you want it to be.
100%. And that's something that we'll definitely get into the next time that we meet.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
we can finish up spiral dynamics and then stop it. Or were you
I
just
don't
gonna
know if we
stop
have
it?
time, yeah.
Bro, let's finish it up. 5-10 minutes.
Well, I'm saying like literally I don't know if we have time, but
I don't want this to die.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we had yellow and then there was turquoise. We can just really quickly describe turquoise. So turquoise was the transcendence of yellow.
And yellow, let me just say, yellow thinks about the entire world as a kaleidoscope of information and knowledge, and obviously does its best to understand all levels of knowledge. Yellow is completely obsessed with scientific models such as spiral dynamics. Yellow is obsessed with reading books and learning information, but eventually yellow realizes that there's a limit to how much information it can collect, and there's a limit to how much they can benefit the world with their collection of information. So like they realize they're too busy collecting information rather than embodying that information and helping the world. And that's when they become turquoise, is when they just stop learning and they just embody the things that they already know to be true. These are the sages, the monks, the mystics, and the gurus.
What's after yellow?
That's turquoise right there.
Yeah, that was turquoise.
Oh.
Turquoise is when they stop learning about stuff and they just embody the information.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they become sages, monks, mystics, and gurus, etc.
Mm. And they dedicate their lives to the understanding of awareness and consciousness.
That's when you realize in stage turquoise, not you or me, that's when people realize when they get to stage turquoise that a monk can sit in a room for 24 hours straight and chemically in their brain, they've done tests on this, this is now scientific fact, they can be the happiest person on planet Earth sitting in a blank fucking room, no phone, nothing, meditating. Pure bliss. This is what Sadhguru achieved at age 24 after 12 years of meditating. Not straight, but he would meditate every single day for 12 years and eventually reached a point when he was 24 where he cried for like a week straight because he was experiencing pure bliss and everyone thought he was crazy. Now he's the most successful nonprofit organization owner in history. He has God knows how many volunteers working for him, but
Dang.
Volunteering for him.
yeah, not working for him.
But yeah, we'll dive into that more in depth too. And if anybody wants to check it out, actualize.org has Leo Gura. You can look up the different spiral dynamics.
StageBlued.actualize.org. You can watch 2 hour, way better knowledge than we have on the subject.
Yep.
Blue up to turquoise. You can watch his videos on.
Yeah. But I'm glad we were able to finally
get
this done.
This is it. This is the one that we're posting after like 5.
Yeah,
so this is good.
Yeah. Takes a couple practice runs,
It does take, and I'm glad, and thank you too for being so patient. But other than that, it's been a fun conversation. Next time, let's shoot for 4 hours.
I'm down, bro.
All right, peace.